You'll be pleased to know the RGL 80 is the only launcher that's been added to Modern Warfare 3, but don't celebrate too early as it has the worst challenge in this year's camo grind. We'll go through that a little later, but to start we need to level up the weapon and you have a couple of options. Start by having a loadout like this one, making sure you have decoy grenades for easy weapon XP and an ammunitions box to resupply. Rust or shipment will be the quickest method and you can choose to do this in either core or even hardcore. For an aggressive approach, make sure to throw your decoys as soon as you spawn and keep your launcher out for that weapon XP to count towards it. It's better to die trying to hit the enemy with your launcher than it is switching weapon if purely focusing on the RGL. If the thought of playing Rust or purely focusing on a launcher sounds like hell, then the game mode War is a more relaxed approach to leveling up your launcher. Switch in game and fire towards the objectives to pick up kills or even assists, and this will slowly level up your launcher without you even thinking about it. Depending on how the game's going, you can switch between weapons as freely as you like, without having to worry about dying constantly with bad spawns or even skill-based matchmaking. The last option I'm going to recommend is to do this in Invasion, where you can level up a weapon of your choice, and then simply switch to the launcher when it's time to destroy bots or even the helicopters. Again, this is a slower method, but certainly less soul destroying. Once we have reached level 4, we can begin the only basic challenge, which is to get 25 kills. This is no different to leveling up, stick to whichever game mode you prefer, although I wouldn't really recommend Invasion. Like leveling up, Rust or Shipment will be quicker, but it just depends on your focus. Once complete, we can move on to Gilded or Gold, where we need to get 10 kills by hitting the enemy with a direct impact. Now, this isn't as bad as it sounds. The main focus is trying to shorten the distance between you and your enemy, because the closer you are to your enemy, the easier this will become. Switching your loadout to something like this will help you get closer to your enemy. Sneakers and the backlight are going to allow you to track enemies down, whereas the stuns are going to prevent them from moving, giving you an easier shot. The final challenge is to destroy 25 bits of equipment, but there is a catch. Currently, only claymores and proxy mines count towards this challenge, making it a lot harder than what it should be. The first and most important step is to make sure you have engineers selected so you can see where claymores are through the walls, and then you have a couple of options. The first option is to go into free-for-all or war and simply ask players to help you. There'll be enemy players also stuck on this challenge and will be willing to trade in order to get the challenge done as pain-free as possible. If you find a willing player, make sure to change from engineer to demolition to speed this process up and arrange to meet somewhere on the map. Players will try and ruin this, but it's still the quickest and most effective way. The second method is to keep engineer on with the launcher as your secondary and just wait until you find a claymore user. I know a lot of people don't like asking for help or see it as exploiting, so game modes like War or even Invasion have players that use a lot of claymores. In Invasion, there's a lot of snipers that often put claymores down to protect themselves, so it's a great way of leveling up your weapons by killing bots and hunting down claymores. Just make sure you're seeing the 25 XP pop up on the screen after it's been destroyed, otherwise it isn't tracking. Some people have had issues with claymores in free-for-all, but not so much with the proxy mines. Also, direct hits sometimes prevent you from getting the XP, meaning it hasn't counted. Hopefully this video has given you some help towards this difficult challenge. If it has, then press that like button, subscribe if you want future guides, and I'll see you in the next one.